Now back to Senator Cory Booker. Sir, you made history on the Senate floor this week, standing for more than 25 hours, delivering a speech protesting the Trump administration's policies. Let's take a look at just some of what you said.
Tonight, I rise with the intention of getting in some good trouble. I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. I rise tonight because I believe sincerely that our country is in crisis. Republicans as well as Democrats are talking to me about what they feel is a sense of dread about a growing crisis, or what they point to about what is going wrong, that bedrock commitments in our country that both sides rely on, that people from all backgrounds rely on, those bedrock commitments are being broken. These are not normal times in America. And they should not be treated as such. Generations from now will look back at this moment and have a single question. Where were you? Where were you when our country was in crisis and when American people were asking for help? Help me. Help me. Did we speak up? This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
All right, Senator Booker, you're getting a lot of coverage and support for what you did. Tell us why you did it, and will we see this again?
Well, you've been talking about it this morning. Why? I mean, when you have business leaders from across the political spectrum talking about the consequences of what this president is going to do, when he's brought so much chaos and uncertainty, as Andrew was saying, businesses need certainty. This is not going to result in what he's saying. This is going to result in more hurt and more pain. He's attacking our health care. He's attacking our retirement security. He's attacking education. He's attacking our very values by trampling on our Constitution. And then when judges, Republican-appointed judges, are threatened by him for impeachment, or even the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has to call him out, are we just sitting by and being witnesses to these kind of insults, outrages, and this kind of peril? It's a time that all of us do things that are different. And I have to be honest with you, the Democratic Party, we have to do more. And so I think we decided this strategy, my team and I have to give a lot of credit to my staff. We just said, let's start trying to find better tactics, because our constituents are writing us painful letters about their hurt and their fear and their anger, demanding that we do more. We have to answer that demand. And so, we decided to try to disrupt the Senate and bring hopefully a focal point on the voices of my constituents and around the country, people and Republicans and Democrats who are just saying enough is enough. We've got to stop this.
Senator, it's Lauren Leader. I wanted to ask you actually about the Senate. My understanding is yesterday Senator Paul and Kaine united to try to pass a resolution or some sort of stopgap to prevent some of the worst of the tariffs, specifically on Canada. What do you see as the opportunities ahead for the Senate to potentially blunt some of the worst of the potential impact of the tariffs? What power does the Senate have now, you believe, to block what could be a terrible impact on America?
Yeah, it was a marvelous sort of glimmer of hope. Yeah. It really was. It was a crack. The first real crack we're seeing, and God bless Tim Kaine, and frankly, thank you, Rand Paul, for testing it and getting 4 Republicans to join with Democrats and say, Canada has stood with us in every war since the War of 1812. They bled by us. They are one of our top trading partners. Our economies are intricately interwoven. Many products Americans have crossed that border multiple times to help us to both have a stronger economy. So those two joined together. This is the numbers. We did it with John McCain and Murkowski and Collins in the first Trump administration to push back on their attempt to tear down the ACA from 20 million people. We showed that we can appeal to the conscience of our country and to the Republicans here to say enough is enough. And the numbers here are clear. We need 3 in the House to stand against this president and his hurtful and harmful policies, or for in the Senate. And I believe if more Republican voices and independent voices and Democratic voices start coming off the sidelines and saying, it's time for me to stand for my country, it's time for me to stand for veterans, stand for health care, stand for expectant mothers, stand for our children, if more of us start doing that, I'm sure that what we saw with the great move by Tim Kaine and Rand Paul will become more usual, and ultimately we'll be able to score more victories in stopping this president from hurting American people.
And Senator, lastly, returning to your speech in the Senate floor, it was really striking how much it meant to people. We heard from a lot of people, viewers of this show, others who sometimes ignore politics, but were captivated by what you did, in part because it did defeat the record from Senator Strom Thurmond, who had argued against a Civil Rights Act at the time. Tell us about what you've heard from your constituents, from other lawmakers, from average Americans, about what you did meant to them.
A lot of the voices that we read, the stories we read, we've been hearing from people that what they liked about it was that we elevated voices that are often not heard on the Senate floor. And that is so important. I also have a lot of friends, you know how your friends never let your head get too big, remind me that there are Americans right now as I speak to you, who as the sun's coming up, they're working their second or third shift in a row just to try to afford. They've been on their feet. There's an IHOP on Bergen Street in Newark. I had a friend, she's now passed away, we called her Mama Tasha because she was one of the best servers you can ever imagine, and often a counselor to her customers. She would do double shifts and triple shifts on her feet. I was asked to work with farm workers once. One day, the farm workers asked senators, 100 of us, me and Padilla, actually went out and did it. That was the most back-breaking work. I was sore for over a week. There are people in America that are doing jobs. There's cops on the beat that have been held over because of the challenges in their community. So, heck, I stood for 25 hours. I stood for those people who are getting screwed over right now. And I think that a lot of folks were grateful that I did and elevated the voices and tried to shine some light on the people, that this man is really hurting right now, people who are really struggling right now and are looking for more of us, and I've got to do more to fight for them because we are in really rough waters right now. What the president did yesterday is going to hurt a lot of people who are barely holding on. And so I've got a lot more to do for my constituents, but I'm hoping that maybe a lot of us who do enjoy a little more blessings in life and a little more comfort could know that, as Martin Luther King said, that what we are going to repent for ultimately as a nation is not for vitriolic words and violent actions of bad people, but the silence and appalling inaction of a lot of good people.
Democratic Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey, thank you very much for being on this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it.